gentlemen, welcome to the old school, new vibes. Where the older and the new G's speak about the golden era and the modern era. Old school, new school, need a murder. Featuring Logan, Dave, and Ark Medina. Old school, new school, need a murder.
Yo, what's going on, everybody?
Y'all.
Thank you.
OSNV. Thank you for joining us once more.
Episode
Quattro.
Quattro. Yes.
Quattro,
Man.
muchacho.
For real.
100%.
We batting cleanup today.
I feel accomplished. We're getting things done.
That's
you know?
it, bro. We don't have to do it again after this one.
Soon we'll have Jay-Z
episode at a time.
come in, sit down, be a
We're
guest.
featuring our guest today. Shout out to Travis Scott and
Shout out to
McDonald's collab.
Mr. Scott.
Word.
Yeah.
Mr. Scott's.
We had to do a little bit of rearrangement with the aesthetics and shit.
Today's more of a cash vibe, sitting on the couch, you know?
That's right.
Laid back.
How y'all brothers been, man? How's
Ain't
your
shit,
week?
you know, surviving and striving.
Facts. How you been? Well, we pulled back last week. So what you been up to, man?
Nothing much, man. Keeping busy, bro. Like always. Nothing new to report. Just hustling, working, paying the bills. You
Nigga,
know,
that's life right now, right?
yeah, learning some new video techniques, keeping my skills sharp, and getting ready. You know, getting ready for the new year soon. You know,
I know. Fucking a whole year went by, man.
just
like
flew by, bro.
It was
No.
February, and then, like,
That's it.
that's it.
Pandemic, February pandemic, boom,
Now.
Thanksgiving.
and now
Not even, because it goes straight to Christmas, the way the way the marketing scheme is for most
Yep.
retail
It
stores.
goes from
It's like-
Halloween to fucking Christmas.
it's funny because
Christmas
these
in
next
August.
few holidays, right? Every year, you know, I find myself these are the holidays I struggle with as far as like, you know, being at the top condition, you know, form, you know.
This is grind time, holiday season.
But exactly, you eat like crazy. But as of lately, to be honest, like my appetite hasn't been even like that crazy. I haven't been eating as horrible or as wild as I would usually.
Listen, man, you're in shape. Stop complaining. I
You know
need
what
to
I'm saying.
I need
I'm
to
just
get
saying
back.
that
Saving
this
it
is
all
the
for
time.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Not even because there's only
Let me
like 3
adjust the
people.
levels.
There's only you could only bring like 3 people to your crib, bro. It's crazy. What they said, 10 people per household, right?
The levels.
We already broke that rule being in here.
Yo, exactly. Like Hispanic households already have like
That's
10
it,
people.
bro.
That's 10 people inside of a 6-foot
Yeah,
radius.
what the fuck are you
Like,
gonna do? I mean, what are you gonna do? Separate families and shit?
Yo, facts, man. I mean, that's what I'm doing right now for my birthday this weekend, bro. It's like I gotta separate each day because I can't chill with everybody. So
It's
it's like
because you're that cool, bro.
no, because you know that's why.
So it's your sweet 16, right?
Sweet 16. No, 18 for life. Not even. If I had to pick an age for life, probably be
25.
31 and shit.
31?
A little bit more
Why the one?
distinguished, you know.
31 is like you got your life together.
Yeah, because 30, you're like, oh my
Young
God,
enough to,
I'm 30, you know.
Yeah, I
31
feel
is like, man, I got this.
so you got to say 29 then. 29 is like the right before you hit
Right
the
before.
big 3-0.
Yeah.
All right.
I remember when I hit the
state of
30,
mind,
I had a
bro.
big
30
bash. Man, my 30s was partying, chilling, clubbing. you
Mine
know?
were as well, but they were more calculated. Like when I was younger, you know, my 20s were like you either had the most epic night, and then like the next day could be like the most horrible night. You know, in your 30s, you are able to select adventures a lot easier, and
Yeah.
you know what to do. So you may not have epic nights as many as you had in your 20s,
Right.
but you definitely have fewer horrible nights. You know what I mean?
It's so
hear that.
funny how you guys doing that during your 20s and I'm over here 14 at the Keys living a life like it's Jersey Shore every day.
Right. Yeah.
Yo.
Speaking of Jersey, didn't get should get legalized over there recently.
Yo.
Thank God.
Bless.
We have to move over there.
Legalization of
Facts.
Mary Jane.
The Mary J got legalized. A lot of shit is getting legalized over the country.
I mean, that's definitely gonna help with the economy. I mean, I think the East Coast was due for that. You know, we needed like a state over here.
Isn't Boston also? Or someplace in Massachusetts?
Yeah.
Possibly.
Okay. I don't know too much.
But that's like the closest to New York at
Yeah,
least,
like
for
in the
sure.
tri-state. Like,
Yeah.
so you know, if New Jersey did that, they're probably definitely gonna. You know, New York is probably gonna mirror that shortly. You
It's
know,
also going to
hopefully.
include
Hopefully.
mushrooms.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
that's
also going to
Good.
include
mushroom
shrooms.
is like the safest drug anyway. That should be legal everywhere. You know.
To try that, allegedly, possibly, maybe.
Yo, this
You know what
dude
I'm
his
saying?
birthday mushroom run, bro.
Birthday-
Yo,
birthday
play
trip.
some Mario Brothers, you know.
In real life.
Go down the
Speaking
fucking
of
sewer
legalization,
pipe.
fucking Oregon,
They
just-
legalize all types
they
of shit. Fucking-
everything.
But you know, it's funny
Fucking
when you
weed,
legalize
blow,
it, you
crystal
see it
meth.
less. It's like when it's like a bad kid. You know, you tell them not to do it, they want to do it. You tell them to do it,
Well, there you
I
go.
don't have
That's
much
the
interest.
problem. You got the government telling people how to live their fucking lives. If people want to be crackheads on the street, let them be crackheads on the street, right? As long as they're not harming nobody, what's the
or
fucking problem?
versus let them be crackheads in their house. Because it's like if you're
Right.
doing all this stuff behind closed doors and you're in the confines of your house, who really cares? You know?
Exactly.
Yes, but
Let people live their fucking lives. You know what
I
I'm saying?
think ultimately what that's going to do is they're trying to create definitely economical markets to help out with that, because right now we need that, but also it's also should help with crime, you know, help reduce crime somewhat. So, you know, we'll see. I mean,
We'll
R.I.P.
see.
to all you dealers, but at least on the
especially over there, like, come
Yeah.
on. But the crazy shit over there, like, they ban straws, plastic everywhere, but
Yeah.
you can do
I
coke
can
and
see
heroin.
it from
like,
you know, to look out for the what do you call it? Fuck, I'm at a loss of words. The fucking nature. What do you call that shit?
like a carbon print and stuff.
No, like, you know, take away the plastic from the ocean and stuff like that.
Yeah,
What do you
reduce
call
the
that?
carbon print. Yeah, I'm all
Fuck,
for
I just
that.
totally fucked that word up. It'll come to me. It'll come
environmental something.
to me. Environmental some shit, whatever.
No,
the ecosystem, right?
okay.
That's what I was gonna say. Economy and whatever.
Shit, that's
that's
fucking,
a lot of syllables in
shout
that.
out, shout out to this shit. I'm already feeling it.
Yo,
What is
shout
it?
out to that.
The whiskey bourbon. Boom. It's the happy birthday
yo,
episode for
shit.
Ark, and we're
happy
celebrating.
belated.
Happy 50th. Just kidding. Just kidding.
30 team, my G, for
30,
life.
30 teen. But like I was saying, yeah, you know, I wish that the government would just allow people to live their lives as long as they abide by the laws and not do no dumb shit and kill people and shit like that. Let people live their lives. Stop locking people up over
Aggressive or violent.
non-violent offenses. It's ridiculous. It's 2020. What are we doing?
What are we doing? Well,
Hey, speaking of 2020, these elections.
Oh, the
How you
elephant in the
feeling?
room.
How you guys feeling? We end in
I don't
2020.
even know how to start that
So
conversation.
just a small caveat: we were gonna film last week when we decided at the last minute. You know what, guys? Let's wait
Hold
until
off.
after these results come in and
they're still coming in.
Let's. You're right. They're still coming in. They're still coming in. Let's get into it a little
Listen,
bit, man.
We're still waiting for the post.
Yeah.
We're still waiting.
They're fraudulent. Everything is fraudulent. It's fake.
You know, look,
Throwing all of my votes.
definitely
in the
not
trash.
pro-Trump or pro-Biden, right? But I'm just like reading what's going on, and I'm not gonna lie, the media is like full Biden mode. Like they just are pushing Biden's
like he was
agenda.
elected. It was he was elected from the beginning.
People
the
aren't
very-
even celebrating him being elected. People
Yeah.
are celebrating
Celebrating
the
Trump
fact exactly
being
being
defeated.
gone.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and I
so
think
what are we celebrating? Pretty
and
much.
I think that's kind of where the people were just so they couldn't wait to get him out of office that they didn't know what they pulled in. You know how sometimes you got to know the devil you have, then
Yeah.
bringing in a new devil. And I don't mean devil.
I just feel like, you know, honestly, I don't want to dive too deep into the rabbit hole, but it's like they fuck with our intelligence. Every 4 years, they give us these two candidates. You know, I had some prospects. I was like, you know what, maybe Bernie has a chance this year. Maybe my
Definitely pro Bernie.
Andrew Yang. I was like pro Andrew Yang because he was speaking a lot of science, a lot of economical facts.
I did appreciate that G he was trying to
yeah.
throw at people.
You know, I was rooting for Andrew Yang, but then I see like how little by little the debates start happening, and out of nowhere Biden's the fucking nominee for the Democrats going up against Trump. I'm like, I know where this is headed. I already know where this is headed. It's like they play with our fucking intelligence every 4 years, and people just fall into it, bro. Like what is gonna change? You tell me, what is gonna change?
I have no idea, but I do know that when Biden was in office, you know, we were in a lot of wars, like
Which is gonna continue.
which is gonna
Which is
come
gonna
back,
continue.
and that's what happened. Like Hillary, Biden, they were all part of all of those wars that we were in, and that's one thing. Like,
Not for nothing, but Bush was part of the wars too. They're
Yeah.
the ones that set it off out there, right? After 9/11 happened,
After that,
let's
yeah,
keep it real. They
that's
set
a
it
whole.
off.
But at the end of the day, you know, they're just a figurehead. They're just a face
they're
behind
just-
the grander scheme of whatever's supposed to be put in place already.
Exactly.
You know?
There's a saying that says presidents are selected, not elected, and this goes to show it. This proves it.
I agree.
So I don't know why everybody's celebrating. We don't know what the
What's
Biden
gonna-
administration is going to bring in.
I mean, he did mention more lockdowns, so that's sad.
More lockdowns and listen, the Second Amendment. We're in New York. We're not. We don't have gun rights out here. But the Second Amendment people around the country, they're
Was
pissed.
like our gun rights.
They're pissed. They're like, yo, Biden. They're gonna come up with some shit and they're gonna go after your guns. Okay, they're not happy about that. Okay?
Yo, you're definitely the Alex Jones of the crew.
I'm not. I'm not. I'm not here with no conspiracy theories.
So hold on.
I'm just-
if he's
but
the
I'm-
Alex Jones, who are you? The Joe Rogan or what?
Nah, Joe Rogan's Joe Rogan.
I'm playing devil's
I'm Logan.
advocate, guys. I'm not here to push.
Hey, Joe Logan.
I'm not here to push Alex Jones conspiracy
I know,
theories,
bro. You know,
we all come from that era.
We do.
Of Behold the Pale
we
Horse.
know there's mad
We
crazy
see
shit
the shit
happening
that's
right now.
unraveling, right? And it's like, and it's happening before our eyes. The way they're dealing, the way they're handling the pandemic. You know, it's just like our personal civil liberties are in peril right now. And I'm saying it.
You know what's
and it's
crazy?
gonna get worse.
That the fact that there was really no pushback on that. I get it. You know, there's safety that's in play, and this is what they kind of put in front of us. Well, we have to do that for the sake of, you know, grandma, or the sake of
for the sake of public safety,
and right?
Public health and safety.
But they definitely should have handled that a lot. Like, there should have been more of a conversation where we can kind of pit the pros and cons of, you know, having the quarantine or not having it. But the fact that we were just so easy, like, sure, I'll stay home.
Yeah, but you have to understand, there's not a lot of study that went behind it previously. This is kind of like the quote unquote first time, despite us seeing this virus in many different forms.
This natural
this is the
virus
first
that came from
time
an animal.
that we see in many different forms, different names. Spanish flu, like
Right.
H1N1, H1N1.
Yeah, why didn't they shut down the country with flu?
Well, you know what's funny? Tuberculosis,
flu.
bro, killed like almost 1 million people last year, and nobody had masks on, bro. Like, I don't understand. There wasn't a pandemic about
I just feel like there's an agenda behind this, whether it's a pharmaceutical business, you know, like, oh, they're gonna push the fucking the vaccine now.
Well, you know what it
Right?
could be, since weed has a lot of natural healing remedies to it, or natural positive sides to it, and they're you know, that's the reason why they didn't want to legalize weed and hemp in the first place, because they'll put like the paper business out. So weed and CBD, all this is getting legalized. Now you have to find a different agenda for the you know, prescription pills. That's not necessarily, because a lot of people that deal with stress, anxiety, that normally would take X amount of pills, now using CBD, using weed.
Oil,
yeah, it's like,
Listen, we
many
could go,
different angles to go
yeah,
about it.
we could go down rabbit holes all day, but if you follow the money, right? Follow the money. Who pushes these nominees, right? Like Biden,
lobbyist corporations,
the
bro.
lobbyists, the fucking pharmaceutical industry, the military industrial complex. These are the people going out to war, building weapons. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is shit that happens every fucking year.
But you know what it is? The people, they want to.
Did he promise to end any wars?
No.
Did he promise to release people from prison?
No.
Isn't he the guy that's known for putting all these minorities in jail?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, and so is Harris.
And so is Harris. Oh, so because they pandered to the minority vote, I gotta be happy because
But that's typically that's the Democrats' angle. They always try to hit you with the minority. You know, they rather side with.
I'm sorry, bro. I know I'm worked up right now, but it's because I feel like you're insulting my intelligence.
Well,
and you're doing it
that's the
every
thing. You know
fucking
what?
time. I've had enough of it.
The majority of the people, I wish they held your same, you know, way of thinking, but they're not. You know, they're too worried about their comfort and anything that where they have to kind of think and they don't know, and it's going to present some kind of anxiousness. They don't want that. For that, they'll just allow, okay, let the government decide this for me. Let the government decide that for me. And this is what shepherds do, bro. They lead the sheep, you know, and they're either leading them into the pastures or leading them into the slaughterhouse, bro. And right now, you know, we'll see. I mean, my hopes, of course, are always with the Most High, and you know that we're gonna be good, and I hope that we will be. But
like
we're definitely in some perilous times right now, bro.
Like you said, trust in the process. You gotta trust in the process.
I was like, you know what? Is it really gonna make a difference who's the president, you know? No, because again, those corporations that are running the world now are still going to continue shop. And, you know, let's just hope money. That a change does evolve out of this, and there's some consciousness, because the people are awakening.
People are awakening. People with a common sense and you know, rational thinking are awakening, but
they are changing these laws really quickly, bro. Like, I just read something today about them trying to ban protesting, bro. Can you imagine that, bro? Like,
that's what I'm saying. They'll use COVID as an excuse. No mass gatherings because of COVID.
Yeah,
no this, that. It's like, what are you willing to give up? Which personal liberties are you willing to give up because of COVID?
Yeah, and
it doesn't even become willing at that point, because it's kind of forced. It's imposed on you. You know, it's not required to wear a mask and do stuff in certain places. But
what's going to happen when they start mandating a vaccine? It's not a conspiracy theory, is it?
It's pretty much true. If you're attending school for like students, for the most part, you can't attend the school physically when you go in.
Need vaccination shots.
You want your health insurance. You want this. You want your paycheck. You want your government check. You know what? You got to get a vaccine now.
And it's not saying that, because you don't want to piss off that. Right now, you got to be so careful with pissing off the anti-vaccination people.
Now I'm an anti-vaxxer. Right? Meanwhile, I don't get a flu shot.
Ever. I've never gotten it. I haven't gotten
I take care of my immune system.
I haven't gotten sick.
Knock on wood.
Decades, bro.
If I get a little sick,
not wood.
Knock on wood.
But look, I'll give you an example, right? So when my son was going to school, he had to get vaccination shots, right? And the doctor was like, well, he has to have all of these shots before he starts, right? But I'm not going to give them all to you today. This is like, why are you even telling me this? And the doctor's saying, I'm not going to give all of them to you today. We're going to spread it out and within like 6 months. Thank God we went earlier, like in the year, like we went like June, because he had to have it ready for the following year. Right. And she spaced it out like within 6 months, you know, but then you have a lot of kids who, you know, they got to go to school next week and they got to get all these shots done, and they get hit up, and then next thing you know, there's autism problems or there's speech impediments, bro. And this is the thing. I'm not saying, I didn't read about that. I know of kids like that. My sister-in-law deals with kids with special needs, and the first thing they tell her is, after they got the vaccination shots, we started seeing these things, XYZ, started happening to his motor functions or his speech.
Which may or may not be affiliated to that, but it's just still, it increases the chances.
After a while, it's like not a coincidence if there's hundreds of kids that's happening to.
Yeah.
But that's going to take us another level. Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, yes, there is definitely some dark stuff happening.
There's some fuckery amiss.
It is, man.
You know, whether you're left, Democrat, or right, Republican, conservative, whatever the fuck, you have to have
But everything
common sense.
Does reach that boiling point where, okay, the people have had enough. And I think that they're going to strip one too many rights from the people, and they're just going to,
at that point, where does that leave you? Yeah.
I know.
Where does that really leave you?
I don't know,
see.
Man.
We'll be shooting the podcast from the fucking trenches.
I'm Che Guevara. I'm not ready to start a revolution.
Yo,
but it's
facts.
People need to know, like, you know,
because look, right now they're talking about running back this whole lockdown shit, right?
Which they're doing already.
But, you know, in a way, we always got to look for the blessing in disguise, right? So the blessing in disguise now is like, you know, we're in a state right now where there's a lot going on. A lot of people have anxiety and they're falling under depression. These moments actually build us to conquer that, because the biggest thing about having any one of those things is not having something to do, right? A lot of times you are able to fill your life up with XYZ. I got to go to work, then I got to do the gym, and then blah, blah, blah. You have a routine, and that helps you fill up your life and not have to worry about not doing nothing. Mm-hmm. When you're quarantined, you're doing nothing, and that's what drives people crazy. But if you're able to master not doing nothing, that's where you're going to find a whole new level of energies. But that's when you Super Saiyan.
Well, not just that, you could develop new skills, study new things.
At the same time, that's fine to grow. Lining. But at the end of the day, to teach, because remember, if this is like what we're putting it under, some kind of tactic war, you know what I mean? Like, these are tactics. It's funny because we always have books up here, right? The Behold the Pale Horseman. And one of the passages, he says, during the end of times, right, they're gonna fatten the kill, right? Do you remember that? And I always wondered, this is funny, bro, that I always wonder, I'm like, what do they mean by fatten the kill? And bro, this is what's happening right now. During the quarantine, they're fattening the kill. They're making us immobilized. They're making us right now. If we had to go to the streets, bro, a lot of people wouldn't have the stamina and endurance to
I see what you're saying.
to go to take it to another level.
Check it. And I know we're going on this, and we'll change the subject in a minute, but we need to get this out.
We need to call this episode
we need to catch
Alex
up.
Jones.
We need to not even Alex Jones, because it's not conspiracy theory. We're stating some facts too, right? Shit that you can't deny. But this shit is happening not just in the United States, not just in New York,
globally,
all
right?
over the world.
Isn't that
So are you?
just-
So you're saying, you know, these governments all over the world, they're not in sync. They don't have like an agenda. Something is going on that people need to wisen up about.
Or the UN. Remember, a lot of the stuff is being run by the UN. The UN is dictating.
Just all I'm saying is, don't believe everything you hear in the news, right?
Do your research.
And do your research and make your own educated opinion.
And research is not just listening to the media, because like we said before,
or YouTube,
or
read
YouTube.
a book, do something, educate yourself.
Look for the pros of something, and also look for the cons of stuff, because sometimes in reading the negative is what you're going to learn about something. You need to see both angles. You can't just, because you favor something, you just go and get something that supports that ideal. Like you have to study both sides of the game. You have to
guys
study
feel
all
like
of that.
really strong like about that. So what do you think? Like, this is your take on it at your age, the knowledge you've accumulated now with what you read. So like that's in this current generation. What do you feel like something like this happening back as you know,
90s?
you happen 90s or like
no
when you were a
communication.
child?
You're gonna beep each other like, some crazy shit's going on. Like,
I wonder.
Like,
Right?
let me run to the
That's
payphone.
crazy, because right now, what's helping a lot of the people stay
It's information.
is also
It's
IG,
information.
social media, right?
Yeah.
During that era, during the 90s, there was no social media, really, right? What was
And
it?
imagine,
AOL?
like,
AOL was the
Mi
only
gente.
Radio. I feel like radio is your
MySpace.
biggest.
radio
Radio.
and AOL.
And yeah, so people have a limited source of news and information to instantly. We have information at our fingertips.
I feel like it would be
Right?
much easier to manipulate back then, because if all you're
Yes.
hearing is the radio and they're
Yes.
saying, "Watch out, everyone!"
Yeah.
there's a
I
pandemic
could see
coming.
that.
Yeah.
But at least back then we would have had ill like theme music, because that's when like Killer Army was like all the shit that that's happening now. What's
telling
going on over there? Wu-Tang will be blasting like
Yeah. Camouflage.
I'm a die,
chameleon.
but I'm dying to some music. Like,
Yo,
okay.
right? Camouflage.
We come from that old school golden era,
Yeah.
and shit was always a conspiracy theory back then. But forget about that. We're just talking about what makes sense. Use common sense. Use logic. Use reasoning. Think. Don't just agree with everything that you hear on the news, man. Because a lot of times, most of the times, that shit is fabricated. It's just catering to the audience. It's catering. It's getting ratings. It's
Pandering.
getting, it's pandering to an audience. And I hope this new administration does the right job. But it's like, you got to be a little skeptical about it. You know what I mean?
Well, it's
and
funny.
not that Trump would have did a better job, but that's my issue. You giving us these two guys that are like,
You just got to pick the lesser of the two evils.
lesser
at that
lesser
point.
the two evils. Who's gonna play ball with all the big corporations?
But this is the thing,
funding
right?
them?
Like, what's the lesser evil, right? Because they say, what do they call Trump? They call Trump a racist, right? Bro, you know how much
so was
footage?
Biden.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, this is how you know
Footage of him
the
dropping
media
the
is
N-bombs,
controlled
bro.
by Democrats. I've never seen any footage with Trump using the N-word. There's so much footage out there with Biden using the N-word, bro.
This
That
is
shit
why
blew my mind, bro.
I can't give Trump a pass because he's
No, but
got
at least
a guy,
Trump was like in the clubs with
Yes,
50
but-
cents
but-
and all. Like,
See, Trump
you know,
also said he's the least racist.
Yeah,
I'm
He
gonna
didn't
break
say
it
Don't
he's
get me
not
wrong.
racist.
I'm not saying he's not racist,
I'ma
but at
break it
least
down.
you would see him,
Okay,
you know,
but
rubbing
Trump-
elbows with like, the quote unquote
that's all for
minorities.
But that's
photo
also
ops.
yeah,
That's all for
exactly.
photo
That's
I
playing
agree,
the role.
but at least he's been around some weed smoke.
But do people
You know what I mean?
just pay attention to the poster boy, right? Trump.
yeah.
But the people they surround themselves with, Trump had that guy Steve Bannon, who had that Breitbart website. Stephen Miller, who's like a known white supremacist. You do your research on that guy, and he had these guys in his close circle. I think Stephen Miller was in his cabinet. So this guy's like a white supremacist motherfucker.
He doesn't.
And he was in the cut. He was in the shadows. He was under the radar, but people know who he is. So I can't give Trump a pass. The whole
No,
thing
I'm not. I'm just saying. I wanted to know what's the reason that the people are calling him. Like, what are the evils? So they saying that Trump is a racist, right?
Listen,
so my whole point is that they're both racist, right?
Fuck all
No,
of
they're both racist, right? So if that's the biggest thing, right, that Trump is like pro, white supremacy, like I see that on both sides, bro.
Google the '94 crime bill that Biden was behind. Google that shit.
Google Biden.
Before you go dancing in the streets.
Google Biden, Hillary, and Libya war. Like, there's so much.
All I'm saying is, man, it's all fuckery, man.
It's all a facade. The world is a stage.
I'm sick of
That's why
getting made
smoke
fun
your
of.
weed, drink your whiskey, make your music, make your money, live your life.
Because I believe in the democratic process. I voted for Obama in 2008. I voted for AOC. That's right. I voted for AOC. I voted for Bernie when he went up against Hillary.
The thing
because
with Bernie,
I believed in democracy. But then when you see shit like this unraveling, it's like, what's the fucking point?
When you look at Bernie, right? Like, I believe. Well, I agree with a lot of what Bernie stands for, right? But what I did see with him, he wasn't aggressive.
It's socialism. He's a communist.
Yeah, but like, for instance, like he would go in a debate and he would be like, well, I can't really say anything bad about. No, my G, like, you're going to be the leader of the free world. You need to go up there and know how to throw down, and he was just a little too calm, and he doesn't show that.
That's what people liked about Trump and that counter defense. They like that he's very aggressive. So it's
aggressive,
but
I think that, the leader should not be aggressive, but should show that he is strong enough to make a decision or to make a statement that may not slander you, but is kind of exposing you. Because at that time, Bernie could have totally been like, what are you talking about? You're like the biggest race. He could have brought out so many other points that it's not about him using.
Bernie. He's been in politics for so fucking long.
He's a great guy. He's a good guy, bro.
He's a good, honest guy.
That's what I'm saying.
He civil rights movement, all that stuff. But I think the reason why Trump connected with a lot of people, a lot of hardworking, blue collar people.
They needed a change. That's what it was.
He wasn't a career politician. He and
he made it seem like anybody could just. He could be president. That's why I got Kanye open. Like, Trump would be like, I'm gonna.
Well, I mean, Trump was a reality TV star. Mm-hmm. We elected a reality TV star, guys.
You guys opened the window for everyone else to think that
they could do it.
The most powerful person on the planet that has access to the most powerful army on the planet.
What's this button over here? This red button that says missiles.
And we elected him. Okay. So what does that say about our process?
Well, it also tells you about democracy, right? So I'm all for democracy as well. But when you have a country, because this is a huge country, bro, that you got, let's just say there's 60% for people who want this and 40% want this. Where's the democracy in that, bro? Like, how do you decide something where
a lot of people would say it's a republic? It's more of a republic, and I don't know.
It's but then it comes down to also what is the most ideal if neither of those work.
I know. Then you would have to break up the country into like little sub-states or sub-country. I don't know. But you look at what happened to Russia. That's what happened to Russia.
That's how they keep us divided. That's how two different ideologies.
But if you think about it, it's kind of divided now because you got Texas right now that's open. Yeah. They're like open for business. There's no lockdown. There's nothing. Everybody's
they got
guns. They're chilling. There's clubs full blown. They're open.
Now they see themselves as like true Americans.
Yeah.
They get to exercise their constitutional rights. I see good sides on both ideologies, the left and the right. They both have good ideologies. Why can't we find some type of compromise to mix the best of the two together and stop having everybody going against each other? Trump fans, Democrats. Find some type of compromise.
What happens is that
the
people who built the country become so rich and powerful, right? That they make more money than the heads, than the presidents and whoever's in Congress.
And they run the show.
And they start dictating, you know what? Yeah, we kind of constructed the whole infrastructure, the whole country. I kind of, next time you get elected, won't you do this to favor us or this tax bill or whatever? They start running the show.
The corporate lobbyists, they're the ones that run the show because they're the ones that funnel money into
and that's one thing that I would say that Trump did say, like, that's why he didn't have a lot of lobbyists, bro. And that's why kind of pinned him, made him public enemy too, He had like no lobbyists, which is
It's a lot, man. It's a lot to digest. I'm not a political analyst.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
just giving you my
Killing my
personal
vibe, and I'm
opinion.
trying to, like, have fun.
And I'm gonna tell you like this, guys. I didn't vote, and it's like, you know, I'm a citizen of this country. I pay my fucking taxes. You're damn right. I'm gonna give you my opinion. I don't give a fuck that I didn't vote. You're still gonna hear my opinion because I deserve it.
So
I earned it.
What do you say to those people that say, "Oh, if you don't vote, you're just contributing to the problem"?
Go fuck yourself. Because I paid my
I'll
dues.
drink to that.
I paid my dues, motherfucker. I pay my taxes every year.
This is the
You know what I'm
gift
saying?
of living in this.
I'm not gonna
Country.
vote. I'm not gonna vote for
Freedom
two
of speech.
clowns that I don't believe in. I'm not gonna vote for you.
I agree.
I'll vote for fucking
It's
third
crazy.
party if I have
It's
to.
crazy that this is the best that the country has to offer. Like, these two men are what represents the United States. I know the rest of the country got to be looking at us
Laughing
like,
at
what
us.
the fuck is happening with these dudes, man?
It's a fuck fest. It's
really
a
is.
fuckery. But anyway, yeah. So that's as far as that goes, guys.
For the
Let's
rest
bring
of
it back. Let's bring it back on some more, laid back
Lighthearted.
shit. Yeah.
Late.
Go ahead, do your thing, player.
Yo, for the rest of the show,
What's that?
your name is Alex Jones.
Nah, I don't want to be
Joe
Alex
Logan.
Jones,
This
bro.
is Joe Logan, bro. We got my name will come up.
Alter egos.
Alex Jones would have been like, "There's black helicopters, stealth helicopters listening to you right now." I'm not even about that, bro. Like, Alex Jones be on some bullshit too. Some of the stuff he
Yo,
says.
you know
is
what's
legit.
funny? He was just on the Joe Rogan podcast a couple like last week. And the thing with Joe Rogan, he always has to like reel him in and like, yo, chill.
Yeah. He fact
But
checked.
he did a fact check on him the whole time there,
yeah.
and everything he stated was accurate, bro.
Well, everything that Alex Jones stated
Alex
was
Jones
accurate.
said, and he was like blown away. And Alex,
Some of the stuff he fact checked them on.
yeah, that's why. But,
But
he had to
again-
make it known
But
that
again, it's the extremists. That's what I can't. I can't fuck with you if you're too far right. Right,
Has to be a
you're on that
balance.
bullshit. If you're too far left, you're on that bullshit too. If you want to cancel people for every little thing, go fuck yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, chill. Just be laid back. Follow your beliefs, but you don't need to intimidate people or push your beliefs
beliefs.
on other people.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah.
I'm all
You know
for
what I'm
that.
saying?
I'm all for that. But I'm back to this legalization.
Okay. Woosah.
This is what we need to spark up right now
Or
I had to
take a
get that
nice
shit
little
off my
break.
chest.
and play.
Everybody's going crazy for this right now.
Yes, exactly.
You know, if you're not getting it at the store, you know what's the minimum you're paying right now?
First million
What?
listeners gets a free PlayStation 5, y'all.
Someone will find some legal loophole to freaking make sure they actually do.
I
get
will
one
put a
out of us.
disclaimer. Nah, he just bullshitting.
Yo, how much? You said
If you didn't get it from the stores, you're paying at least $1,000 right now.
Bomb.
with no game.
With no game,
game.
son.
Yo, Xavier.
Just
That
a
shit look
box.
like an air filter, bro.
Xavier's 6 years old already asking for that because they got the Spider-Man game.
Get him a
Miles
Switch.
Morales.
You get them a PlayStation 2 and a PlayStation 3, and then you just tape it together. Yeah, man, that's
Yo, that's funny.
Nah, but that's crazy. Yo, PS.
But
like,
kids nowadays want everything. They want the Switch. They want.
look. It's dope. I get it. I saw the graphics is amazing. But at what point, like, what's
It's gonna be
next?
virtual. It's gonna be
That's
like
what I'm saying,
That's
right?
why, as far as gaming goes and competitive like gaming, they started moving over to PC. So like PC, you spend like probably up to $1,000 too. But the thing is, you just change out your parts instead of just buying a whole new system every time something comes
right.
out.
Right.
Better,
Modify.
better quality,
All right.
better gaming experience. You know.
Yeah,
But like,
yeah. That makes sense.
you know, but for those who are not going in and just a casual
But it's
player,
the same thing like phones, bro. The
Yeah.
new iPhone 12 just came out. I'm like, yo, the shit
You
look
could film
exactly.
a fucking movie with that shit.
But the
now.
shit look exactly like
shout
the
out to
11.
iPhone. That's actually how we're getting our
Yeah,
footage in now.
we figured we get the best footage with our iPhones. We don't even need the DSLRs anymore, bro.
I know.
It's crazy.
You got a Canon, like for what?
Yo, shit is crazy, bro. But that's just technology nowadays, you know?
Yeah, and I think that I just don't know what point. When are people going to be satisfied, or is just
It's
Never.
That's just,
I mean, but that's just like because you figure this is science, you know. Scientists never cease to amaze us by experimenting and trying to push that envelope every single time. I think, like you said, virtual is the new would be eventually the new like peak because
What
right
do you
now,
know about the there's like the 3D virtual games?
like using the Oculus,
The
the
Oculus.
headset, yeah.
What do you think of that? Have you fucked around with that?
So
a
like
little
I've owned a very very early version of the Oculus from like 4 years ago, and it's still like very premature.
Damn, it was out already.
It's been I mean it's been out for
It's
a
been out
while.
for a while.
But you know it's so weird because they tell you that, you know, don't sit in front of a screen for too long, don't put your, you know, don't have your phone right here in front of your face, it'll mess with the eyesight. Meanwhile, you put on a virtual reality set and it's
You're
literally
like in.
It's immersive,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
It's like you feel like you're in there and shit. That's what it's gonna be like in the future. You just like you're actually in there, like the Matrix.
Well, that's what your boy Elon Musk wants to do. He wants to create that. It's called
Like simulators or something?
The Neuralink.
The Neuralink.
It's
like an enhancement.
It goes and it helps you dictate your emotions.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
You
But
just turn everyone into AI at that point.
Yeah.
That's what they were saying. I'm like, yo, how is he like? How are you okay with that? Like, and I guess
mean,
these are
there's
people.
a very high upside to it, but then at what point it becomes to a point where it's like, what makes you human if everything could be?
So if
You
you're
have
always
like a
running
cybernetic enhancement.
if you're
you know?
always running an optimal mode, right? Everybody, then all the people that are out there, all those businesses that are designed to help people who aren't in an optimal state, they're gonna be out of business because they don't. First of all, you won't need doctors, you won't need therapists, you won't need a lot of things. If you could dictate your emotions and your whole body and how everything's supposed to run, a lot of other people, it's gonna be like that's a whole different. That's
you have to think,
usher in a
right?
whole different way of life.
So like, in order to afford that, you can already foresee the type of people who would be using this at first, right? And like touching back to politics, like the whole reason of that is to make the bigger gap, not between people, but between classes. So like,
It's a class war.
you're like, look at McDonald's, look at a lot of jobs that no longer need cashiers. It's automated.
Automation.
So like, you're getting rid of the lower tier slowly but surely. You're building up the high. It's gonna come to a point where it's gonna be the elitists using this type of technology, and
Right.
they don't need, you know, like you saying, those other companies that are providing this service.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, it all depends. You're right. It's a class war. Like, who's gonna have access to what, and it all depends on how much money you got in the bank. Pretty much, you know. I feel like we're in danger of losing the middle class.
Bro, and not to bring it back into politics, but that's a lot what the Democrats do, man. They're like, they're good with the whole welfare programs and all that, but that just keeps people.
But that puts you in that mentality, to want to, like, of course, us, you know, we grew up in a household where, if not our direct line of family had welfare or Medicare or something, you know, someone we knew did. So like, obviously at first,
that was like a way of life for us.
Exactly.
And it was okay. Like, you know,
that's
you're like, oh, you don't need a job. Yo, you can get that.
Government check.
You know, and that's, I think with that kind of mindset, man, that
But you won't be able to get one unless you get that vaccine.
And like, they're gonna eventually start drug testing
Facts,
people
man.
who get, you know, Medicare and stuff. So it's like, and to that point, you're really thinning off. Granted, you know, to a point, there are some people abusing it, but you're really thinning off.
I ain't gonna lie, I definitely abused. I remember when I was younger, and I didn't have health insurance.
Back in the 70s.
Back in the Stone Ages, right? Nah, and I used. I'm not gonna disclose any names because it's a hilarious story, bro. But like, I had used. So I can't even say it was a family member or not because people would start doing the process of
checks.
elimination and shit.
Yeah, you're gonna see it on your taxes.
So I had asked someone, you know, let me use your Medicare, whatever the health insurance card was.
Right.
So I went locally, right, Atlantic Avenue.
Don't incriminate yourself right now.
No, I'm not. But I went.
Come back after you for some shit you did back in the day.
Nah, so I went to the clinic, right, and so the doctor was like, "Oh, how's it?" So I get the person who let me borrow the card goes there. So now when I'm there, they're like, "Oh, how's everything?" And okay, did the gonorrhea, like, did everything clear up? And bro,
The gonorrhea.
The doctor was there, and of course there had to be a shorty there, like a nurse, and she's there. And she just looked at me like, "Why she give me that
like that?
Oh, you got
what?" And I didn't even know what. At that point, I was willing to be like, "Nah, I'm lying. This ain't even my shit." Like, but I was like, "Fuck it, let me just." I was like, "Yeah, nah, everything is good. Everything is good."
You were in too deep at that point.
And he's like, "Yeah, okay, let me just check." I was like, "Fuck." Like,
shout out to the bodegas that would hook me up when I use my grandmother's Medicaid because they give me hot sandwiches. Only cold food, but
but you can't do that now. You got fucking IDs and everything. You got fingerprints and everything.
Yeah,
that was hilarious.
It's a brave new world we live in, fellas.
But yeah, I think they played to that audience, and everyone in that audience is like, oh, as long as my Medicaid's good, as long as these benefits that I have are good,
and these stimulus checks, the same thing. That's why these people like staying home. Like if they're saying, oh yeah, we're gonna do another lockdown and we'll just give everybody some more checks. Like, bro, we don't need that. Like, fine, the people do need money, but what they need is this economy back in order. They need the businesses open up again. They need to, like, bro, these curfews, they sound ridiculous. Like, 10 o'clock, like,
ridiculous.
Corona stops after 10.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand none of that shit, bro.
Do what you gotta do, but before time. But these businesses.
And then the gyms closed down to all the place. The yoga studios not even opened up fully. Like, I've been going to one in the city, but it's not even like a normal class. It's like we used to have 50 people in the class. Now there's like 2 people in the class. Like and it's $50 per class. Like it's fucking retarded. And these are the places.
This is why the right-wing Republicans talk shit about the Democratic leadership. So you got to look at it like this: who has control? So there's checks and balances, right? Regardless of who's president or whatever. Because Trump passed a lot of shit as a Republican president, but there was always the checks and balances from Congress, who's run democratically, and then you got the Senate. The Senate finalizes all the bills that get passed. So you got to keep your eye on that Senate right now. As long as the Senate and fuck the Republicans, but
the majority are Republicans right now.
Right now, but we don't know from now till November if it's a fully controlled Democratic Congress and Senate, then we don't know what the fuck
stack up
is
on
up.
some ammo, guys.
Then we don't know what the fuck is up. You know what I'm saying? Because then you got full control, full authority of whatever you want to do.
The way I have to limit it in terms of how does it affect my immediate life,
It's going to affect everybody's immediate life.
But to a certain degree, because even right now, everyone was affected, right? Of course. But to not lose yourself, because again, bro, we're seeing skyrocketing numbers of people dealing with issues, bro. These quarantines, you think they're just, oh yeah, they're safe. No, okay, they're safe from quote unquote the corona, but now you're introducing them to other levels of illnesses, bro, and mental illnesses at that. So it's like you gotta really don't look so far ahead at how the world is being affected. Look at your immediate circle, and if your immediate circle is fine, like, I thank God that my family's fine. I come check my son. Like, everyone was doing good. We're thriving. Everyone is thriving, bro. Like, we're all doing, if not better than
every day, man.
Right? And it's a blessing to see that. And, God bless all the unfortunate ones. And, we're definitely, you guys know, I can attest to being out there and helping out the unfortunate people. I'm all for that. But we can't allow that darkness that's out there to come in and really poison our well and the water we're drinking from at home. Yeah. So, it's a balance, man. But
one last thing.
Go ahead, Jones.
No, one last thing. It's like, okay, what you see on the news, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen anything in the Middle East, anything war-related?
Nothing.
It's all...
That's typically the U.S.'s media point. They don't really...
this whole thing was the presidential race, and now it's going to go back to COVID, right?
Yeah.
You haven't heard shit about what's going on in the rest of the world.
Bro,
Nothing.
Do you see what's going on in Yemen? Not to get all crazy, but
Honduras, God bless them. Honduras
too, bro.
It's flooded.
And
flooded right
listen,
now.
you know Ecuador as well, right? So
that's
Ecuador,
my country.
Our country. You know that they have a bunch of rainforests, right? That are like home to dozens of indigenous tribes. That
same thing happened in Brazil.
But the same thing happened here. What happened in Oklahoma
with the rainforest?
And they're destroying them, bro, like crazy.
For what?
People.
Wow. For why?
To be honest, I think with that one it has to do with oil, and oil, that's another conversation, bro. Like,
as you guys are talking about like just global news, I just looked up something and it said on Wednesday, Beijing's government's going to pass a resolution allowing Hong Kong authorities to pass laws without going through court.
You see?
And
See?
things like that could easily happen. But you
Easy.
know what? Look, at the end of the day, also,
We're America, bro.
if
We're
you know
a
what,
different breed.
we are, right? But if we're gonna tie in all of the conspiracies that we heard from back then, all of those books that we read,
Which
right?
are unraveling now.
They are unraveling, but they said that the good will prevail, right? However you look at your savior, whether it's personal, whether it's most high,
Spiritual.
the good will win. So the fact that you see all of these other things happening should give you immediate faith that, you know what?
Yeah.
The good will win. You don't need to know how. A lot of the times we're so
You just
wrapped
gotta
up
have
in
faith.
knowing how
Just gotta
this
have
or
faith.
like, you know, it's not, don't worry about that. It will happen as long as you make, life is about decisions. That's the only freedom we really have is choices. If you make the correct
Free
choice
will.
every single time you have a decision to make, you're going to have an amazing life. That's
Somebody
point blank
said,
what it is.
I don't know who it was. I don't know who I'm paraphrasing, but somebody said
Alex Jones.
there's more good people on this planet than there are shitty people.
Of course.
So hopefully the good people
Bro,
will
if there
outnumber
wasn't,
the
like,
shitty
really-
people.
But you see what happens is like from
Yo,
a
you
humanitarian
babysitting, my G. You
standpoint. yo, you're
babysitting.
right,
You
you're
need to
right.
get to our levels,
G,
bro.
yo, what's up?
We need
Grow
one
some
more-
hair on your
one more.
chest, homie.
Yo, I'm so glad that
Bum, bum,
we
bum.
waited like 2 weeks because you grew.
Yo, we had
Yo,
some
I had
shit
to,
to
I had
get
to
out.
start over for No Shade November.
Oh, the Movember.
shade.
Yo, he
November.
looks so young.
I saw
See,
the
right now
picture.
his
lost,
beard
like,
grows
20
thicker than
years
mine.
into my
Back
20s.
quick.
Yeah.
A week, not even like 5 days.
Yeah, facts.
You ever seen Evan Almighty when he tries to shave and
fucking thing
it
like
literally grows back? That's me.
Yeah, but what you were saying?
See, from a humanitarian standpoint, it makes sense because like us as people would want to believe that. But what do people value, right? With technology now, we look at people who are at young ages and who are in different fields becoming very successful very fast, or they're giving off this appearance that they're successful. And thank you. And that's what people value. People value success. People value money. So at what point does it become like, hey, you're a good person, you're a bad person, doesn't matter, I'm rich, you know?
Perception.
So
Yeah, that's
Have some
one of the things.
compassion. Have some compassion. Have empathy. What is wrong with that?
you know,
Yeah.
that doesn't pay my bills.
But you know what? Look, to be honest, even though I don't want to put it in those terms because you're right, they are perceptions. Like what's good is subjective. Good and bad is subjective. But if we're gonna just leave it under those labels, good and bad, there's more good in play. Because if there wasn't, this whole world would be to shit. You know what I mean? Like a lot more of the greed and the people, the monsters of the world would be in control, and they're not. You know, if anything, they're struggling to gain control.
I mean, it's a game of chess, not checkers, too, though.
Yeah,
Facts.
it is.
Which we need a chess table sidebar right up
I'll
here.
bring
Right, a
mine.
Lego
I'll
chess
bring-
table over
I
there.
got a chessboard.
I did see that.
I got a chessboard.
Speaking of toys, I want to shout these out real
Shout
quick.
out Shop Hawkett.
Yo.
son.
I know, son.
Mando. Season 2. The truth right
My
there.
G. Have you been seeing this?
Hell yeah, dog.
You know what I love? It's such like
Tomorrow, episode 3 comes out.
it's a like a marriage of stuff for adults and for kids. Because the last episode you saw that we were fighting some big like dinosaur shit, like real kiddish.
That was dope. It was
But
like
it was
Tremors.
amazing, bro. That
I'm
like a movie.
gonna hold off until everything's done and then watch it.
Oh, you don't like-
I don't
You wanna
like
binge
waiting.
it?
I know,
Yeah, I
I
don't
can't-
like
I can't
waiting.
wait. I can't wait though to see it. But I'm sorry. Continue to plug.
No,
Do your
Shop
thing.
Hawkett. We'll leave a link in the description. All your hobby shop needs.
that one is crazy. You put the black light under that one, right?
Bro.
Yeah, the Carnage. You find
Bro,
yourself
they
some
got
nice,
the realness
trap
here.
toys.
It's not a game over
Yes.
here. Like they
That's
got
right.
Swing the
Yo,
the,
swing
the
that
box.
over here, my G.
bomb.
Travis killing it on. He's like, yeah, thanks, appreciate it.
Bomb.
You know what I'm saying?
Tell
I don't want to have to pay for this shit, so hold on.
the slide.
Slide.
He's killing it on
slide
multiple
to the
markets,
right.
man.
Bong bong.
Yo,
Look
my
at
G.
that.
See,
fire,
this is the evolution of music.
You got the
bro.
ones on.
It's not just it's music anymore, bro. Like,
It's trans.
But that's where
It's-
you guys like to agree and disagree to certain,
Yeah,
people
like-
like it for music for the music, but music just becomes a culture now. It's more than
it's
just
a lifestyle.
and I'm proud to be part of that culture, man, from its inception. The
Me
whole
too.
hip hop.
That's why, look, like, I love me.
I
Of course, I'm
represent
still.
hip hop to the death, bro.
Hip hop has grown to be more than just music. It's a movement. It's a culture. It's a culture, and I love it. And that's why that was one of the reasons. When things are meant to be, you'll find more than one reason to do it, you know. And of course, the first and foremost reason for even doing all of this is to spend more time with my son. Like, this is crazy. Like, now I'm in a platform.
Forget you.
No, it's real talk. Like, you know, he's a grown man. Yo, when you have kids and they grow up, bro, like, you gotta realize they have their own lives, bro. Like, they're not sleeping over your crib every weekend like that anymore, you know? And it's so funny because when I seen him kind of develop and become his own man and just become successful and do everything he's doing, it's like, damn, man, you know, you want to find that medium ground where you can, like,
he could step to you on some real shit.
But like, we can also now still build something together now. And now it gives us a reason to build something together, but also talk and see him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, you know, aside from that, is music too, bro. Like,
I respect that.
You know, this hopefully, when I drop my album, put the link to the bottom. You know what I'm saying? You go download that shit. But
yeah, we're gonna actually be able to play your songs though, because you won't sue.
And I have to worry about maybe.
But no, just to add to that, like, you're right. As a parent, like. You know, I don't spend as much time with my daughter. She's a grown adult now. You know, she's in her early 20s. But the little time that I spend with her is like, I cherish that. You know what I mean? Like, it's like the quality over the quantity.
And it's crazy, not to get all crazy and like, but, you know, I love my pops.
It's so crazy.
Love my pops. You know, he passed too soon. Rest in glory. But, you know, I don't know exactly what a successful relationship should look like from adult to a father.
There's
when you're
never
an adult.
A perfect.
So it's like
it's
with
all
him,
situation. It's all learning along.
It's
the
all
way.
learning. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I'm too OD with him too much. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, all right, dad. Like, chill the fuck out, bro. Like, okay, I know I gotta look both ways before I cross the street.
My daughter does the same shit, bro.
But, you know, that could be a little turn off too.
At the end of the day,
it does. But I'm still learning that boundary because I don't know what a healthy relationship looks like.
I've learned that I gotta talk to her more like. Yes, sometimes you gotta put your foot down and let them know. But
I never really had to put my foot down.
But some other times you gotta talk to them as an adult, as a person, as your equal.
That's what I have.
You know, like I'm here to listen to and stuff like that, and it's all part of the game, man.
I've done
part
that.
Of the process.
And one great thing that I think like every generation wants to be better than the last, right?
Which it should be.
Which they should.
We're
so it's funny because
facts. That's what started this all.
Yeah, facts. Music, yes. Music, yes. Technology right now, I don't know. Niggas is kind of winning with these.
It's a given. Though,
I make a whole song with my phone right
That's
now.
all, yo,
you can do a video, a song.
You can shoot, bro. We're shooting our videos.
And you can edit it. You can do everything on your phone, bro.
But, you know, definitely it's a learning process, man. And now even doing business together, you know what I mean? Like, you know, of course it's all fun and dandy right now, but Lord willing, when this blows up to a bigger establishment, you know, we'll have those journeys to take. But it's fun, man. You know, it's definitely fun. And music is definitely one of the driving forces still in my life. That's what helps me stay sane. That's one of my escapes, you know?
Yeah.
I'm in the studio or just walk in and just blank out and go into music. And that's always been something that helped me find the balance, you know?
We'll do a joint before the year's over. I'm going to get back in it and just...
And it doesn't have to be music, too. It could just be anything you're passionate about. And I think that the only downside right now with so much information in this age is that it doesn't allow their generation to really hone in on something and become passionate on one thing because they're just open to so many.
It's like the Amazon outlook though, because like Amazon is everything, right? So I think I can speak on my generation. For those who don't have that one passion, it's like, all right, I can have 5 different passions and I could shoot all of them at 20%, you know? And slowly but surely grind them all versus like, all right, I have this one thing I'm going to build. It's 2 different ideologies. I think even it's not just my generation.
What is that called? A jack of all trades, right? Mm-hmm. It's better to be a jack of all trades than not know any of it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even though you may not be a master of one, but it's better to be a jack of all trades than a master of none. You know what I mean?
Master
Bars.
of None on Netflix. Go check it out.
That's a little plug. A little plug. Send me that check real quick.
You know, I saw him one time in the city. I was with my boys. I don't know. We were coming from some spot, and he was coming out of he was by himself, and I felt like I didn't want to intimidate him, so I was like, I want to say what's up to him. He's regular. It was a while back, and I was a little drunk. But I remember I saw him, but I didn't want to approach him because it was nighttime, so I didn't want to because I had people with me, so I didn't want to the guy to feel
like the ill fanboy
mug.
Yeah, I didn't want him to think because he was by himself. I didn't want him to think anything, so I just. But I saw him. He was I'm sure he's a.
Were you with people
cool
with East
guy.
New York?
It might have been. I might have been with some Queens heads.
You know, so funny with him when he actually said a story about Kanye when he met Kanye, and Kanye's like, yo, come to my house. Yeah, and then he came to his household party. He's like, okay, yo, I got this, from 10 to 12, you're gonna perform. And he's like, what? And he's like, he's like, okay, say some jokes.
Kanye was on Rogan. I got to see another side of him.
Did you watch the full?
I did. I saw it bits and pieces. One day because you gotta spread it out because it's long.
I think with Joe Rogan, man, I've never seen Joe Rogan that quiet.
I think it's because he wanted to analyze. He wanted to get Kanye's.
And you know what's funny? Joe Rogan's usually very blunt and honest about people.
You think he was a little too easy on him?
He was a little too easy.
Bit.
Yeah,
but I don't think.
How you talk about Joe.
Oh yeah, well,
I don't think Kanye warranted any reason for him.
He didn't say nothing too out there,
Yeah.
but. This is what I love, that how he spoke about him afterwards, because the person's not on air, and even episodes afterwards, he still gives him credit and he understands how he is, and it's what happens is the majority of the people just catch little sound bites of what Kanye is saying, and that's what makes him sound so crazy. And if what he's saying is against a major establishment, of course the media is gonna make him look crazy. Bro, they did this with all of the greats. They did this with Michael Jackson.
We know him as a gifted artist.
Bro, if you go back and you listen to some of Michael Jackson's old interviews, my G,
he sounds like a lunatic.
No, he sounds like he's Alex Jones, bro.
Oh, okay.
He is going off.
I got to check that out.
Bro, there was one interview where he was calling Tony Mottola the devil. Like full blown, and talking about conspiracies and talking about how they controlled.
Yeah, but that's like a few of the greats, Cat Williams. A lot of people,
and
people
everybody
who,
who falls out of pocket, they do. The first thing they taint their credibility. They make them look crazy. And this is what happened with him, and that's what's happening with Kanye too. But we're living in a world, and I think we spoke about this on one of the episodes too, how his approach is different, which is probably going to be the approach of all the new politicians, because even we see Trump doing it. He's using Twitter more, he uses Twitter as a
you got to reach that demographic. That
shit was a gold mine for him.
Yeah, but this is now the new politician where you're going to get to know him that personal. You can go on his fucking social media page and just leave him a message. When can we do this with politics, with presidents?
You feel
and stuff
that close to that person,
right? Yeah. But back to what you were saying, he did have some great points, and even one
brought it back to God, being a God-fearing person.
One good point that he said that was awesome is that, because Joe Rogan asked him a question that I haven't heard anybody ask him. He's like, okay, so what are you gonna do about if this happens and you have to set up for war? And
he stood quiet for a while.
He's still quiet.
Yeah.
And he was like, I will hire the best people.
Yeah.
But realistically,
smart answer.
Smart answer. Trump said the same
everyone
shit.
in politics, they're quick to talk, and they're really good at kind of sleight of hand, but with conversation, versus people, what they actually do in reality is they consult a professional.
Yeah.
But everyone wants to critique Kanye and critique everyone who doesn't have that immediate answer right away.
Okay, bro.
But that shit's almost done. B-Day vibes.
B-Day, son.
Boom, salute. We doing it again. Boom.
Quadruple cheers.
Quadruple cheers. Get that on the mic. It's going to be mad loud, but fuck it.
But music, right? Let's say music, because I don't think we spoke about music today yet.
Let's get into that Busta Rhymes and Black Thoughts.
Yes.
Let's lighten it up.
Even you, I didn't get to hear the Kodak. You told me about Kodak.
I literally just
we came in heavy, but we're gonna lighten it up for you guys.
Yo.
You know what I'm saying?
We'll leave this episode with strict old school.
That's it.
Combo.
We're gonna talk about music
we'll let
now.
you guys
y'all.
shine for a bit.
No, but have you've been hearing the Busta Rhymes? How do you feel about the Busta Rhymes?
It's okay. I see where it's coming from.
How dare you?
No, what doesn't appeal to you?
What doesn't? Is it his voice?
I think it's so you saw how he tried to revamp some of his old songs, right? I think
at
that point just go for a new angle, even if it's not what the trends are. I feel like when you kind of bring it into that old baggage, it's kind of like, all right, here's my crutch. Here's what the people are used to. Here's the bread and butter. I'm going to use this and just throw a little extra seasoning on it. But
yeah, I see that.
I'd like to just add on to that. I think it's because this album was kind of like a milestone. Because he dropped the first one back in 98, 99.
Like 20 years ago.
Extinction Level event. And now is like a proper time to drop the sequel. And he just loaded this shit up with like a bunch of tracks. And I think the majority of them, like 85% of them are like
kind of fire.
sick.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm sorry, but me.
For his style,
I like if the
hard
beat is
beats.
dope, if the beat is hard,
He bodies
I'm
it
fucking
too.
with you.
Yeah.
And lyrically, he's always been nice lyrically. Because he could go fast, he could go slow, and he's got the voice, he's got the delivery.
Cadence, yeah.
Bro.
No, beat wise, dope.
I work out to that shit.
No, definitely. I'm not gonna lie. I loved a lot of it, right? But you know, this is I think a conversation we had before as well about what does the new age or this age do they have any true lyricists? You know, and you had said they just deliver it differently. You know, like which is true. Like right now, what kind of runs the current music, like trap music, right? Kind of.
Ish, yeah.
And
Are there any lyricists right now? And you know,
Well,
for the most part, people
like,
probably gonna be like, "Oh, there's no lyricists out right now." But yo, you kind of do have some. Little
And
baby,
also,
bro. Little
and again,
babies.
they're also in a younger. Not everyone at their prime too was rapping at the same caliber. You know, you had a few who could freestyle, who had a nice pen, but like again, it came down to what's selling. Hip hop wasn't at the point of where it is now. Hip hop is very marketable. Hip hop is very mainstream. Back then, hip hop was more of a exclusive, you know, kind of gathering where you and your boys would gather together, bump this new track, and you'd hear it on the radio occasionally. You know, now this is the face, this is the new pop, this is the new rock. This is
it's funny you say that because I think we were talking about this earlier. Like, hip hop kind of swallowed in some other genres, right? Like R&B. We were talking about R&B. We wanted to discuss like R&B back then and R&B now, and I mean, then you were like,
"It's not really.
I mean, R&B right now."
There definitely are R&B artists who kind of keep that.
But
same
then there's
Bring
like
R. Kelly back.
The voice and opinions.
We
Alex Jones, aka
we are not all in line
That does
with
not
each other.
reflect on the old school new vibes. I've been watching Dave Chappelle's show because he's back on Netflix and fucking HBO Max. So
Yo,
listen, he
gotta
did
go a whole
some R.
different
Kelly
mood.
skits, so don't put it on
He's
me.
hilarious. No, but yo, it's true. Like every hard.
Listen, if Biden's in office and he's over here molesting children on freaking videos, we
There's
could
so
talk
many
about
videos of him like being mad creepy. Like, how do people not?
Hey, he's talking to little
you
girls in
were
their
like-
ear.
flicking girls.
People
I don't-
disregard that shit. Like,
Yeah.
I don't get it.
But
Like,
this
you're out in the streets celebrating. Check this out real quick.
Check
I'm not
this
gonna
out.
I'm not gonna make it political, right?
45 bars, real quick.
This is a funny
17
story.
bars.
I went out last weekend. I took my girl out. We went out. I forgot what day it was. I don't fucking remember. But
Which girl? No, I'm kidding. Kidding.
Second time. We're gonna put a scoreboard
Yo,
up.
Cat
and then-
snuffs you. I don't know who.
Body blows.
I can't have your back.
Yeah.
So we went out to dinner, and this was right after they declared Biden the winner. And people, you know, we're in Astoria, so you know it's more like
Celebration,
a little more of a democratic lean. People were like clapping. We're waiting to get into the place. And so people, every few minutes, I hear people cheering and shit, like, yay! And I'm like, what the fuck? And obviously they were cheering because of that. We finally got to eat and everything. On the way out, right? I just said, fuck it. I'm just gonna fucking blurt some shit out. And I go, we fucking won! And people just started cheering, right? But I did it more as like,
Just
you
to
know,
fuck around.
just to fuck around.
Like, and then she said Goonie Google.
And my girl's like, baby,
Goody
it's so
goo goo.
embarrassing and shit. And then there was these two girls sitting down there on the side, and I was like, I didn't make eye contact with them, but I was like, you know what? I voted for Kanye anyway. And they started laughing, but I'm like, it's a fucking joke. The whole thing is a joke.
You know
what I mean?
Being that we're here, I wanted to say this too, right? So, you know, there's like not even a small, there's a big percentage of people out there saying, oh, it's not over, the election's not over, he didn't concede, you know. Let's just entertain that idea real quick, right?
Yeah.
Let's just say now, you know, because now that he's conceding.
We're bringing it back, y'all.
Now that he's conceding, right? Like, there's a whole new laws. There's a whole, yeah. He's like, yo, hold on real quick. Encore, let me drop this.
17 bars.
real quick.
And then
he's not gonna concede. So now a whole new laws go into effect and everything
How does
gets
that work?
scrutinized.
Break that up. Break that
They're
down.
gonna pretty much scrutinize and fine comb all of the votes,
ballots
right?
and shit.
But the thing is that people saying, "Oh, there's no evidence of." Bro, there's evidence out there of fraudulent activities going on,
But
right?
Even in the 2016 election.
But right, all right. So whatever. The point is that my question was, what do you think is gonna happen because if you see everything that's going on, they didn't declare him the winner. They're saying he's the projected winner, even on your
Why?
Instagram.
Because he hasn't
Because
conceded yet.
he hasn't been declared yet. Because he hasn't conceded. Which if you look, which is crazy too, because in their debate, they both agreed that none of them will declare the winner until the other person concedes.
Well, the loser usually gives a concession speech.
Right?
Like, hey guys, I lost.
Yeah.
Sorry, but he didn't do that. yet.
But Biden already declared the winner
Right.
after he agreed, and this is funny because I just seen a video on that right now. I think I
But do
said.
you think that's another technique for them to like?
But
rile
anyway,
people-
the question
rile
was,
people
what do you
up?
think is gonna happen if fucking Trump comes back and all of a sudden he's the winner?
He's got to make up a lot of electoral.
Do you think
college
that
points.
that right there is gonna spark a
Civil war?
Civil war?
What's happening now is already
I don't
a very
think there's
miniature version of that.
That whole civil war is it's overstated. You know, there's
You know,
gonna
that's
be a lot
one
to
of
happen.
the quote unquote conspiracies going on right now.
So imagine all the right wing Trump supporters that are pissed, right? That live in like Midwest states and gun states come out here to New York and just shoot everybody.
Well, look,
that's a civil war.
They didn't do
right?
that now.
How realistic is that?
It's a miniature version of that. It's what's going on a daily basis. You know, it's the little small races, not small because it's not insignificant, but the smaller scale racist battles that people are dealing with on a daily. More so people that are protesting, more so people that are like dealing with these individual cases versus like, all right, this whole state of Texas is gonna come over. Like you said, the whole state of Texas is gonna come over here and
Texas is worried about people from California coming into Texas and moving in to their red state and voting blue. So that's what they're concerned about. They're not worried about everything else going on.
Florida too.
They're worried about losing their state.
Back to that crazy shit. Back to this Busta shit though, my G.
Yo, Busta was fire, man.
Busta's
That
album was fire. And another album that we had
Black
to talk
Thought.
about, Black Thought album. See,
That shit is
he
fire.
is still, he doesn't compromise nothing. He may take one or two flows that's new right now, but he's still, his bars, they're present all the time. His content and his album was, again, like I said last time, was fucking, did you hear?
He's
Like,
a genius, bro. His
right?
delivery is just
How is he
insane.
not like
The
top
next
3,
level.
bro?
To me, he's on my top 3, top 5.
Yeah, definitely. Lyricist wise,
Bro.
maybe not impactful songs, because you know sometimes, like this is one thing that this generation is big on, vibes. It's not just
I'm
like
talking
the
about
content,
bars.
but bars, bro. He's definitely top 3.
Always,
bars,
always.
bro.
Since the 90s, he's always been up there.
You know, but if I had to talk about somebody new now that got bars, who would you say? I think Lil Baby is probably the one.
Lil Baby, yeah.
Right? He got bars, right?
Jack Carlos is like more like of a pop.
Yo.
Like, he
Send me
got
some
it.
links
I
because I
saw
want
him
to.
on Sway in the Morning.
Yeah,
Yo,
he got some bars.
right? I was
For like new.
I want to listen to the new stuff and analyze it. I don't
Speaking
want to
of
be
you-
biased. So I want to give it a
So
fair
how you feel
criticism.
about Little Dicky?
Yo, Little Dicky is
shout out to that
nasty,
series.
bro.
right? The series was
That
dope.
series is
Little Dicky got
hilarious.
bars. That's what I'm saying. That Jewish white boy.
But it's like an Eminem
Yeah.
bars. It's like funny. Like he's
Yeah.
good with wordplay.
Yeah.
You know, I think
He's steady.
No,
That's
but
what
him
you
is
base
more
it-
like he's more self-deprecating. Like he'll make fun of himself, but his flow and his delivery is nasty. Eminem is more like he's all over the place too. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
but
He's a little more layered.
see the thing with Eminem, he did have comic relief, but then he also has some real dark
Yeah, he got some
demon
shit,
serious
demon stuff.
shit.
And like with Lil Dicky is all mostly
all-
comedic,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
but
it's
still,
still skillfully
His
comedic.
His
you know
flow.
what I mean?
I listen to flow, delivery,
Yeah.
punchlines. You got to look at a lot of shit to analyze it. But I'm sorry, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, but all I hear nowadays is.
But like, see, going back on the
I don't
same.
know what they're saying, bro.
Going back on the same topic of like hip hop being the face of music. Like, imagine back then the certain rock songs, the certain pop songs, or R&B songs that were mainstream. Like, even if you listen to your favorite artist right now, you skip through all the mainstream stuff more or less. No, you're hearing Biggie. You're not gonna really want to hear me get Biggie. Give me one more chance. You're gonna want to hear
The hardcore
kicking the
shit.
door. You're gonna want to hear more.
yeah, you
Exactly.
wanna hear
Right.
who
You
shot
know what
you.
was like one of the first songs of the bridging of genres, like Run DMC.
Run DMC with Aerosmith.
Right?
Right.
Walk this
Walk
way.
this way, yeah.
Because right now, back to the whole R&B shit, is like, who the fuck is really making R&B right now?
I mean, there's a lot of female, like SZA. She has her own version of
Okay,
like pop.
more
R&B.
chicks.
Yeah,
More chicks, right?
Frank Ocean. I don't know if you want to consider that.
Can I throw some names in there of dudes that aren't from New York that I
You
like?
want
Bryson
to throw in
Tiller.
some
that I
name
think
dudes?
that I think got bars. Meek Mills and
But see,
Jeezy.
Meek Mills and Drake and
Jeezy.
Jeezy, they fall in a. They're
They're
not
weird,
as
'cause yo-
because
but
obviously I would
but
say
they're
like
not-
Drake and all these other.
But
Yeah,
they
but
got
they've been out.
bars,
They've
though.
been
been
out for some-
bro.
They
They've
got
been out
bars.
more than a decade right
Yeah.
now, though.
I know, but what I'm saying is they're not from New York. They're not from the old school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're in the mid because they're
Yeah.
right after the old school.
But they
And if you think
delivering.
about it.
I'm listening to this shit and I'm like, yo, he's saying some shit. So you can do it. What I'm saying is you could spit bars and not have to be singing and fucking all. I'm sorry if I sound biased. That's
No.
where you.
But see, like
that's
you're
where you
coming,
lose.
you're coming
That's
from
where
that
you lose
cult
me. That's where
classic
you
of
lose me.
like, yo,
No,
I need bars
look.
because this is what we started on versus like this is what it's been elevated to.
I feel
Versus
I
this is
feel
what's
like
made-
that.
Fuck what it's been elevated.
Believe me,
to.
look, when I'm in the studio, and I will say this, like, there's, depending on what I'm working with, is what's gonna make me biased. If I'm working on a project where it's super straight boom bap shit, you're not hearing any auto tune, none of that shit. I'm not spitting no Migos derivative flow. No, I'm spitting some hard shit, right? But if I'm in there and like there's different producers and different, you gotta be like water, like your boy right there, like Bruce Lee said. You gotta be like water, bro. You can't you can't swim uphill. You gotta go with the flow. So this is where it's at right now. Okay, let me leave my personal signature with what's current right now. To a certain degree, because as long as you don't compromise your message and who you are and what you stand for, you got to blend into the current times, bro.
I also think people
I
are
agree.
selling personalities. They're not really selling music. You got to
That's-
be
that's
that
another
person's
thing, bro.
fan, and you'll accept whatever they put out.
Facts, bro.
Even like Kanye to a degree, when he was putting out music every Friday, and then he would end up like re-releasing the song with like a better version of it. It's like you just accept what you got because hey, it's a Kanye song, and I'm getting it every Friday. Good Friday.
I agree.
You know, there's Travis Scott. We got this big cutout over here. We're not buying Travis Scott. We're buying into the personality. McDonald's is not buying Travis Scott. They're
Yeah.
buying the face, the image of
And this is the crazy
who
thing.
he is.
I feel you.
right? Travis Scott, what was it? A couple months ago, they leaked out some references that your boy Sci-Hi the Prince
Yeah,
did
for him. But see, here's my thing with ghostwriting, right?
Yeah.
So like Travis
Write your own
specifically.
shit.
But all right, here's the thing, right? So like Busta just recently I think he did the Nori podcast where he
Yeah,
was like,
I was
you
watching.
can't be considered top 10 if you had someone help you with your pen, right?
Yeah.
But if you think about it,
that's
if
bar.
you always in a lab, right? Like you in a lab with somebody, you start spitting, son. Jay's a little different because like Jay was just a different beast, right? But
But
in
you
a
know
lab,
what's
I'm
funny?
going
Jay
off
wrote
something.
his shit on the
There's
spot.
Not
stories
even
though.
wrote. That's off the
Yeah.
the dome.
No, he
But
would memorize it.
Yo,
and
but
spit it.
there's stories about that too. Like, you got other MCs like from State Property. What's her name? Chris, the Young Gunners. Remember how they were like, saying that Jay kind of he always needed that
That's Beanie Siegel's crew.
Beanie Siegel and them too. He always had poppin' other artists that helped him, kind of like just iron sharpens iron. You know what I mean? There's
Like
not.
Drake.
I don't think
Drake
there's
gets the
nothing
short
wrong with
end of the
that.
stick for something like
Yo,
that.
nah,
But the
that's what I'm
difference is
saying.
that
Drake
references-
got bars though.
The difference is
I'm
that
listening to Drake songs now still, and
Yeah.
I'm like, same thing
He
with
got
Jay. When you
bars,
hear Jay,
bro.
you hear the double, triple entendres.
That goes to show
But
that I'm
the-
not a hater.
This is the difference
You know what I'm
that they
saying?
weren't they weren't Jay-Z reference tracks. They
But
weren't
see, like
Nas
Jay,
reference.
like, not reference,
tracks.
but Kanye for Lucifer specifically. If you hear Kanye's first original freestyle, a lot of the stuff that Kanye said, Jay ended up using in a song that's not the chorus. Lord Bishop giving the holy smoke, whatever that verse is.
See,
you heard Kanye spitting that
hear that.
originally.
I need
but
to
so
go.
you're not gonna.
I need to go.
I'll show you the video. I actually saw it earlier today.
Oh shit!
Wow.
Trying to school the new school.
One thing I
old
did
school.
hear about in Jay's you know that whole encore, do you want more? You know who actually wrote that hook? Fucking Consequence, who writes for Kanye. I didn't know that, and I was like, holy shit!
But see, like along those lines, right? I know.
But
like,
he just wrote the hook. He just wrote the hook. He didn't write bars for him. Hook is different, bro.
But like the whole concept,
You
like
want
I
me to
get
back
it.
up? You want me to go forward? Like,
Like
bro,
pick a freaking place.
put this shit in my mouth. Pause.
Whoa.
Yo,
But like with the greats, right? Neo is an amazing songwriter. Wrote songs for Beyonce. Wrote songs for many other artists. Like, are you gonna discredit? Even though it's a different game, right? Because we're talking about singing now, right? And singing requires a whole different skill. And you know, she has an amazing voice, whatever. But the pen might not always be there per se. But like, are you discrediting that because she had a songwriter? You're not really discrediting her as an artist, a person or anything. But on the flip side, in hip hop, if you have any influence, you know, you're kind of blackballed at that point.
You know, it's funny that you'll take this into like the Spanish realm, right? And the great thing about Spanish music is that age has nothing. Latino X, my bad. Latinx.
No, I said Latino, motherfucker. I don't say Latin.
This is the
current generation
term.
allegedly. Actually, I don't
I'm
even
taking
know,
the cab home. I'm not driving, so don't judge me.
I could drive you home, bro. So, the thing with Spanish music, it's timeless, bro. You go to a Spanish party, you're still dancing to the same songs from like the 1990s, bro. Like that shit, classics.
Timeless.
And those artists can still come out right now and drop an
Come out with a
album,
banger.
and then everyone and their mother will buy it.
I'll buy a
But
new Mark Anthony album.
What I was gonna say,
I'm gonna do it at reunion.
what was yo? What I was gonna say is that your boy Hector Lavoe,
He's nasty.
one of his biggest songs was El Cantante, right? And Ruben Blades wrote that for him. Like Ghost wrote that, you know what I mean? And it's like there was no issue. Like,
Okay.
So it depends on what we're going for.
That's
know?
why I say hip hop specifically. They're holding more of like
There's
you know,
a
attention to
higher
detail
regard.
to it. Yeah, but it's like even
Yeah,
like
it's different genres.
Yeah,
bro.
Think about
it
sports.
depends on the
If
conversation
you're a
you're trying to
hip-hop
have.
MC, you gotta write your own shit.
Write your own shit, 100%.
That's their,
But
there's a
that's his
respect that
own
comes with that.
specific list for that.
If you're like a pop star like Cardi B, it doesn't matter. She's a pop star, bro. She's not a hip hop artist. She's a pop artist.
Yeah.
And that means she went mainstream. That means all power to her. She blew the fuck up. Pitbull, he blew the fuck up. What I'm saying is, at that level, it doesn't matter who writes your shit. I'm talking about if you're an MC, if you represent hip hop to the fullest, you gotta write your own shit, right or wrong.
I agree. Me, that's a personal.
So how do you feel when
Feeling.
people like, all right, so everyone's songs is definitely influenced to some degree by someone else's song, right? You write a song, you have, even if you have your own flow, there's another bar or there's another, you know, something else,
That
some other
spawned that
external
thought.
influence, right? So like Jay says, when I forgot which song was it, but he's like, you saying I'm stealing Big's lyrics, but I'm shouting my brother out, right? So like, where's the fine line between you just being, you know,
I hear what you're
inspired?
saying.
I
I
think
hear
the
what you're saying.
other body of work you have. It can't just be. We can't. I think the thing is we can't judge it on just one piece of art. We have to judge it, like, not even judge it. We shouldn't judge it. We should just appreciate it. That's the problem. Like, we're fucking so. This is what happens with people with critiques.
Elitists, like
There's
politics, you just
thin-
have to feel like you're better
There's a thin
than.
line between biting and paying homage, right? Because there's lines out there. Don't ask me right now to recite it, but the artists are paying homage to another artist, like classic line, but they're kind of saying it line for line, paying homage to it. But if you're taking that shit and flipping it and rewriting it, then you kind of biting it, right? Am I right or wrong?
Look at that Busta album. He took Belbit DeVoe, flip it. You know.
I mean, but
That's
like
more of a sample. Like
What do
I'm
you
talking
think
about
of
when they taking bars and like saying like
Lauryn
fuck, I wish
Hill,
I
Lil
had I
Wayne?
wish
Well,
I had
Look,
a fucking-
Lauryn
like
Hill
he just
did
said
a
right
whole-
now. Jay did that, but Jay acknowledged the fact that he's saying when I say my
right.
you know, I think if there is an acknowledgement about it, it's fine, and it has to serve a purpose. It can't just do it to fit a
Wish I had
bar.
An example.
I know what you're saying. There's been a lot of times I've heard people use, but it depends. If it's a super famous line, and because you'd be surprised, bro. There's so many talks of artists out there who put music out and they send their demos to the bigger artists, and then the bigger artist just takes the whole fucking song and the flow and
no credit.
And you know, that's one of the things that, because we have a window now to every artist and we can get all personal, we see that how many flows fucking Drake has taken from people. You know what I mean? We see more of the influence by other people. We see how, you know, it wasn't just one person, quote unquote, giving them, you know, ghostwriting his pen. Like,
where does it come from?
Exactly. So
the old school. Old school.
Old school.
Oh,
I'm all for that. Look, bro, I'm on your team. You remember that. But
and on that note, nah.
You want to just drop Mike?
Yeah,
look,
Dave Chappelle.
I'm not mad at you dropping the mic on an old school point, bro. I'm walking with you.
Nah, I say we got to give the, you know what I mean?
But the fact, he's kind of little.
You got to clap.
You need
back.
a little support, bro. We got to bring a little youngin up in here.
We got to get it with a little youngin too.
We got to get him up here and give you a little support.
Nah, but I'm joking around, guys. The new music is good too, but I'm just being biased.
It's a different vibe, bro.
I like listening to the content of the bars and.
I mean, it has to be
like
good. You figure all the head labels, like not just people trying to milk you with a 360 deal, but like the actual heads of these labels who are in the streets looking for these people are all heads. They know the game. They see the talent. So like you know it's good. You know like it's continuously getting better. I feel like music is just relevant. You know, it's perception and relevancy. So like if you can't keep up with the times, if you're stuck in a certain genre, the golden era will forever be whatever the current generation is, if you think about it.
And then you'll just have those people who will live in that pocket of time too, because like a person like Joey Badass, like you would swear he's from like 1990, like his raps, like he raps, all his shit is old boom bap, like Griselda, you know, the majority of their beats are like boom bap. They're still rhyming like, you know, Mobb Deep back in the days, you know, like. So there's an audience for everybody. The key thing is just, you know, you like what you like. Hey, stick to that.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is too. Like you said, there's an audience for every. You know, there's space for everyone, and we're at a current state where the platform is so big, everybody can eat. And it's like if you just don't like it, all right, you don't like it. It's not that it's better or it's
right. If you don't like it, don't listen.
Exactly.
You don't like it, don't.
You want to hear me say something like that? You want to hear me sound like
that?
We should put a little. You got to put a little effect on one of our auto tune, little flanger, little flanger here and there.
And on that note, I think we went full circle with this one, guys.
Yeah.
And we went in on this.
You want to talk about politics again?
I think we got enough politics out. Enough. Stop calling me that, bro. I'm not Mr. Conspiracy Theorist.
Theme Jones.
I'm dropping. Listen, if you listen to a lot of the shit that I said, it's based on facts. It's not based on
Indiana Jones.
It's not based on
I'm just poking fun. I'm all.
I know.
Bro, you know, we
you
didn't even. We just scratched the surface.
You know what it is?
We didn't even get to the
Alex
aliens.
Jones gets on some crazy shit, and if you equate me to that, then it's like it makes what I said like non-believable. You know what I mean? I know
I'm just
we're joking.
being playful for the people that come in like, who's that? Oh my God, is Che Theme Guerrero?
He's like, no, Alex Jones gets all his theories from me. So you know,
Alex Jones
can't call.
We didn't even scratch the surface. We didn't even talk about the light beings. We didn't talk about the aliens. We didn't talk about the universe inside your body.
Harp.
We didn't talk about none of that, bro.
We
didn't talk about flat Earth yet.
And on that note, I'm dropping the motherfucking mic.
Thank you for joining Old School New Vibes. Thank you guys for joining us, man.
Yeah, man.
Old School New Vibes at Old School New Vibes.
Old School New Vibes with
all
Z.
platforms.
OSNV on Twitter.
Remember that? You remember that?
Big birthday shout out to Ark again.
Big birthday shout out.
Thank you, sir.
Medina.
Ark Medina at ARK_Medina or social media platforms.
I'm your boy Theme NYC. You can find me on IG and Twitter.
And IG Logan NYC.
Thank you, people. We shall see you soon. We'll tell you about this weekend, and hopefully we do a little mushroom run. We'll let you know.
Very soon.
Listen, guys, follow and subscribe. Please subscribe.
Like button, subscribe.
Hit the like button.
It's free. It's free to like and subscribe.
You know, it takes 2 seconds.
Just touch it like that.
You know what I'm saying? Give us a follow. Give us a shout out. Whatever you got to do, man. Show some love, guys.
Cheers, y'all. Peace.
Boom.
Old school